Tonight on Y News. Industrial and local fishing vessels get closer to the country's exclusive economic zone in the West Philippine Sea based on the group's satellite images. The Department of Health suspects eggs served at former First Lady Imelda Marcos's birthday celebration may have caused food poisoning that affected over 200 guests. Ride-sharing drivers to stage a nationwide 12-hour transport strike on July 8. The power of Philippine Passport weakens in the year 2019. And find out if Google has lifted its Android ban on Chinese tech giant Huawei. Good evening. Industrial and local fishing vessels get closer to the country's exclusive economic zone based on the group's satellite imagery. But the group still cannot identify if those are foreign vessels. Mai Bermudez will tell us why.
The destruction of natural resources in the West Philippine Sea is no longer a joke, according to scientists who conduct studies in the area. The damages are expanding and worsening not only in fishermen but also on its reefs and marine resources. According to the University of the Philippines Marine Science Institute, 550 hectares were destroyed in Scarborough Shoal, while 1,300 hectares of marine wealth vanished around the Spratly Islands due to fishing activities in the area in 2016.
Hindi po tayo nagbibiro pag sinabi natin na pag pumasok po sila at hindi po natin sila pinigilan, ay malamang maubos nila ang pangisdaan po sa West Philippine Sea sa loob ng ilang taon lamang. Doon po sa Scarborough Shoal, napakasama po, hindi lang po sila nangingisda, kinakayod po nila at kinukuha yung bahura ng Scarborough Shoal.
Satellite imagery of Karagatan Patrol shows ships which conduct activities in our exclusive economic zone flock near its coastlines.
Yung mapa na yon is, di ba, may nakikita tayong pula? Indicative yon ng location ng isang commercial or industrial fishing vessel na gumagamit ng malalakas na ilaw.
And due to lack of system and technology to identify what kind of vessels are surrounding our EEZ, the group cannot identify if these are foreign vessels.
Yes, though hindi siya necessary foreign, but industrial, commercial scale, no, exploitation on our EEZ are nearing the coastline.
According to UP Marine Science Institute estimates, 33 billion pesos worth of damages are recorded every year in Scarborough due to illegal fishing and reclamation done by China. Mai Bermudez, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Some members of President Rodrigo Duterte's cabinet make dissimilar stance on the verbal agreement between the Philippine president and his Chinese counterpart on fishing in the disputed territories in the West Philippine Sea. Rosalie Cos explains why.
Some of President Rodrigo Duterte's cabinet members seem to be not one when it comes to their statements about the verbal agreement between the Philippine president and Chinese President Xi Jinping, particularly on fishing in the disputed territories in the West Philippine Sea. It was President Duterte himself who revealed this to the public.
Alam mo, gusto talaga nila ng gulo. Kasi sabi ko, tanong sila, will you allow the Chinese to fish? Of course. Yan ang pinag-usapan namin noon, kaya tayo nag-uusap eh. And that was, we were allowed to fish again. It was a mutual agreement. Sige, bigayan tayo. Fish ka doon, fish ako dito. Pero China, sabi niya, not more. Meron pa kaming ibang. Kaya sinusulo natin dito.
Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo insists that the agreement is already being enforced, which is why Filipino fishermen like those in the Panatag Shoal are not intimidated unlike before.
Ano bang hindi enforce? Hindi ba? Ano pa bang tawag mo doon? Hindi ba, yung usapan, may usapan sila na pwede kayo mag-fish dito, hindi gagambalayan yung mga fisherman. Hindi ba nangyayari na nga?
This agreement is documented and officially recorded, says the palace. However, when asked if it will be released to the public, Presidential spokesperson Secretary Panelo responds.
Sinabi niya na nga exactly as it transpired. kung ano yung sinabi niya, we should trust the President's words. Besides, nandun kami. And all of us are saying narinig namin lahat yun.
But for Foreign Affairs Secretary Teddy Locsin, the verbal agreement is pointless and the government cannot enforce it since it is not yet a policy. Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles says an agreement only becomes binding and becomes a policy if it is formalized with specific terms and conditions.
So unless that is translated into hard and specific words and sentences and provisions, then it's just an agreement to come into an agreement.
The palace does not deny that some of the cabinet members have different interpretations of what the president said about the issue. Panelo points out Secretaries Locsin and Nograles were not present when the two presidents met.
Magkakaiba kasi nga wala sila doon. Yung nga sabi ni Presidente, wala kasi yung dalawa doon. Kaya let's understand them.
Are you saying, sir, that their interpretation is incorrect?
Ay, ano pa nga ba eh? Kasi hindi yun ang ano eh. Hindi yun ang sinasabi ni Presidente.
Oh.
But they are entitled to their interpretation eh. Kung yun ang intindi nila, ano magagawa natin?
Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority points out garbage as one of the main problems that cause flood in Metro Manila. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
A 20 to 29 mm per hour of rainfall automatically means flooding in 16 areas in Quezon City, Malabon, Manila, and Makati. This number increases to 60 across Metro Manila when the rainfall is 80 mm or more per hour. Director Baltazar Melgar of the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority or MMDA's Flood Control and Sewerage Management Office says the Avenida Recto area is also experiencing flood now. This is due to the garbage and informal settlers along the creeks like Estero de Magdalena and Estero de San Lazaro.
Agos na dito sa creek. Ngayon, hindi dadaloy dito papunta ng pumping station. Kasi nga andito yung mga informal settlers andyan.
The official noted there are areas in Metro Manila that should not be a residential area like the Gumamera Street in Quezon City's Rojas District.
Wala naman titulo yung mga lupa dyan. So naka-reserve talaga yan for the passage ng flood.
It is also a challenge for the MMDA to find areas where to plant trees which are helpful in mitigating flood.
So pag tinanim mo doon sa sidewalk dyan, yung kanyang roots, sisirain din yung drainage natin
36 out of 62 pumping stations in Metro Manila are under rehabilitation funded by the World Bank. This is aside from the 20 new pumping station projects targeted to be finished in 2024.
Pre, ang gagawin dyan, ilalagyan ng river wall and the pumping station. Para ang purpose ng river wall, i-contain yung tubig sa ilog. Tapos yung tubig ulan dito sa landside area, ipapump out ng gagawing pumping station.
The problem in flooding along Manila City's España Boulevard is also expected to be solved when the pumping station near the area are completed this year. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Manila City government has yet to determine the date of Manila Zoo's reopening to the public. April Senendoza explains why.
It has been 6 months since the Department of Environment and Natural Resources or DNR closed down the 60-year-old Manila Zoo in January. The DNR had identified the zoo as a major pollutant of Manila Bay. Until now, the zoo lacks sewage treatment plant or STP. Aside from that, the zoo's drainage system and water pipes must be improved.
So pag-uusapan pa namin through advice ni Mayor kung paano STP gagawin namin at yung engineering.
On Thursday afternoon, Mayor Francis Isko Moreno visited the facility to check its situation and condition of the animals there. The Manila City government has yet to determine the target date of the zoo's reopening to public, since the place must pass the DNR standards first. The mayor is still unsure when they will install the STP for the wastewater of the zoo, because they have yet to gather funds.
Kung next month, na-comply namin yung problema o yung requirements ng DNR sa amin bilang local government, we'll open. 3 months from now, we'll open. 6 months, it doesn't matter. As long as this facility, Manila Zoo, should comply with Department of Environment and Natural Resources requirement.
The mayor says the past administration may face administrative charges for not taking care of the zoo. Dumagoso believes the city government has lost a big percentage of profits due to the closure of what used to be a tourist spot. But the mayor is firm he will not privatize Manila Zoo.
We will never sell Manila Zoo. It will be run by the local government unit. No matter how we are going to modernize to address the demands of our time.
After the inspection, the mayor stated the zoo's rehabilitation must be planned as soon as possible. Before rebranding or repackaging Manila Zoo, the city government must ensure the facility passed the DNR's requirements. Dumagoso's administration wants the zoo to be child and environmentally friendly after its rehabilitation. April Senedoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
In other news, the Philippine Passport slipped further into the weaker half of the most powerful passport list, according to the latest Henley Passport Index. The Philippines is now at the 80th spot with visa-free access to 64 countries out of 226 possible destinations. It slipped from 70th to 72nd spot from last year, losing visa-free access to 2 nations. The Philippines becomes as powerful as Ghana and Zimbabwe in the current ranking. The top 5 strongest passports in the third quarter of 2019 include Japan and Singapore, who both got the first place with 189 destinations. Finland, Germany, and South Korea got the second with 187 destinations. On the third spot is Denmark, Italy, and Luxembourg. France, Spain, and Sweden on the fourth, and Austria, the Netherlands, Portugal, and Switzerland in the 5th place. The ranking is based on exclusive data provided by the International Air Transport Association, which maintains the world's largest and most accurate database of travel information, and enhanced by ongoing research by the Henley and Partners Research Department. Several transport network vehicle groups will go offline on Monday to protest against the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board over alleged slow and tedious processing of their franchised applications. Joan Nano tells us why.
For several weeks now, various Transport Network Vehicle Service or TNVS groups have been complaining over the slow and tedious processing of their franchise application with the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board or LTFRB. They say their major complaints include LTFRB's many requirements before they can even apply for the Provisional Authority and Certificate of Public Convenience. The groups argue that because of those requirements, they have no choice but to keep on returning to the LTFRB office just for submission, which costs them a lot.
Ang problema lang namin, deactivation. Ngayon, pinapatay kahit existing driver, operator. Kasi hindi po pwedeng bumiyahe ang isang papel na walang PA. Dahil bakit? Hindi nila nilalabas. Bakit? Pending kasi nila. Kami ba ang may kasalanan? Hindi. Comply, bayad, process, asan ang papel? Wala.
So kahit mag-motion ka, kahit na anong gawin mo, is talaga mag-aantay ka ng 30 days para bumiyahe. Or, mas worse pa doon, talagang deactivate ang mangyayari sa'yo.
On Monday, several TNVS groups will hold a transport holiday. Drivers will go offline, so commuters will find it hard to book their rides. They will also hold a vigil and a caravan as part of their transport holiday. Several drivers are also contemplating of filing a complaint in the Office of the Ombudsman against some LTFRB officials over the phase-out of hatchbacks operating as TNVS.
Hindi lang po sa kalye to, kundi sa lahat po ng aspeto hanggat makarating po, no, at ma-achieve po yung kanilang hinaing na tutulan na, tutukan ang pahirap policy sa LTFRB.
But LTFRB Chairman Martin Dagra points out there is nothing new with the requirements as well as with the processing of franchise applications and renewals.
Yung requirement po ng pag-a-apply ng prangkisa is basically the same, not only for TNVS but also for all types of public transit. Kung meron pong problema sa mga ganon, hindi natin nadadaan sa mga ganong klaseng salita na ang gusto nyo mangyari, ipipirwisyo nyo yung mananakay.
On the other hand, Grab Philippines urged their partner drivers not to participate in the said transport holiday that may negatively impact the passengers' ability to book a ride. Grab PH is still looking into possible sanctions on drivers who will join the transport strike on Monday. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Some lawmakers once again urged President Rodrigo Duterte to endorse a House Speaker to prevent a chaotic 18th Congress. Grace Casan reports why.
Some lawmakers expressed concern over the possibility that the legislative agenda of President will not be enacted and the members of the 18th Congress might be divided. As the election of the new House Speaker nears, the more than 300 congressmen are now confused as to whom they will vote as the House Speaker. Albay 2nd District Representative Joey Salceda urges President Rodrigo Duterte to finally endorse a House Speaker for the House of Representatives to be united. The lawmaker adds that it has been a tradition that the President chooses the House Speaker to make sure that his legislative agenda is pushed.
Kailangan po mag-intervene ng Pangulo. I think a presidential intervention at this point will clarify all things for Congress. Because at the end of the day, it is his reform agenda that is more critical to the nation.
According to Capiz Representative Frednil Castro, as of now, Leyte Representative Martin Romualdez is leading the House Speakership race because of the overwhelming support of congressmen. But he admits that this may change if the President does not choose him.
Ang kataga ng Presidente ay maaring maging guideline sa pagpili ng kung sino ang susunod na Speaker ng House of Representatives.
Meanwhile, ang Nakalusugan Party List Representative Mike Defensor agrees with the earlier decision of the President not to endorse a House Speaker for the congressmen to have free will on choosing their leader. He said when the President was a congressman in 1998, he was one of the 5 lawmakers who voted for former Congressman Joker Arroyo, who was running as a Speaker against former Congressman Manny Villar, who won the race then.
Noong panahon ni Pangulong Duterte, nung siya'y congressman, bumoto siya batay sa kanyang konsensya. Sa kanyang paniniwala kung sino talaga yung dapat na magsilbi na liderato sa ating Kongreso. At ito rin yung susundan kong ehemplo.
The congressmen vying for the House Speakership position in the 18th Congress are Davao City 3rd District Representative Isidro Ungab, Davao City 1st District Representative Paulo Duterte, Taguig City Representative Alan Peter Cayetano, Marinduque Representative Lord Alan Velasco, Davao del Norte Representative Pantalon Alvarez, Leyte Representative Martin Romualdez, and Bayan Muna Party List Representative Carlos Zarate. On the first day of session in the 18th Congress on July 22, the congressmen will vote for the next House Speaker. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Good evening. We are now live from Bangkok, Thailand to give you the most significant news for the day and for our news abroad. An Australian student who was detained in North Korea has been released and arrived in Beijing on Thursday in transit to Japan, where he will reunite with his Japanese wife. Alec Sigley, 29, who was studying in the North Korean capital Pyongyang, had been missing since June 25. Alarm was raised when the normally active social media user ceased all communications. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison interrupted Parliament to confirm that Sigley had been freed. He later said in a statement that Swedish authorities had helped secure the student's release. He did not say why Sigley had been detained. In other news, Boeing is giving $100 million to help families affected by the 2 crashes of the company's 737 MAX planes in Indonesia and Ethiopia. The payment, stretching over several years, is independent of lawsuits filed in the wake of the disasters, which together killed 346 people. Lawyers for victims' families dismissed the move. The loss of Ethiopian Airlines' flight ET3 302 in March was the second fatal accident involving a 737 MAX in the space of 5 months. A near-identical aircraft owned by the Indonesian carrier Lion Air went down in the sea off Jakarta in October of 2018. Crash investigators have focused on the aircraft's control system, and Boeing has been working with regulators to roll out a software upgrade. The top-selling 737 MAX has been grounded worldwide since March, with no date when the aircraft might be cleared to fly again. More than 1 million people across the Japanese island of Kyushu have been ordered to take shelter in evacuation centers and other safe areas. Meanwhile, 6 people died and over 190 others were injured after a strong tornado hit a northeast China city in Liaoning province. Rosalie Cross reports why.
In China, a ferocious tornado has wreaked havoc in the northeast of China, killing 6 people and enduring at least 190 in its devastating wake. The twister tore through Kaiwan City in China's Liaoning province on Wednesday evening, tearing off the roofs of residential buildings and knocking down electrical lines, which cut power to several parts of the city. An industrial zone in the DUterte-Xi district of Kaiwan was the most severely hit. The tornado reportedly reaching speeds of 80 kilometers per hour as it ripped through the city for at least 15 minutes. According to local reports, 210 people were rescued from the area. Search and rescue operations began after the local emergency department received reports of people being trapped under the rubble of collapsed buildings. In India, at least 11 people were killed and 13 were missing when a small dam in western India was breached after monsoon rains, washing away dozens of homes. Seasonal rains have crippled India's financial center of Mumbai this week, disrupting rail and air traffic in the city of 18 million, while wall collapses have killed more than 30 people. The breach of the Tiwari Dam happened in the coastal district of Ratnagiri. Villagers had complained months ago about cracks in the 14-year-old dam and repairs were made. The state government has ordered an investigation. In Japan, heavy rains in southern Japan let up by Thursday, but authorities maintained evacuation orders for more than 1 million people, warning against a risk of more landslides. Since Friday, some areas of the southern island of Kyushu have received as much as 39.4 inches of rain, more than double the usual volume for all of July. As the rain shifted towards central and eastern Japan, Kyushu residents were warned not to rush home due to landslide danger. More than 11,000 people had flocked to nearby evacuation centers. Several small landslides were reported, including one that swept away 2 cars. One elderly woman in Kagoshima City died after a mudslide hit her home. One was missing. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe said residents should take steps to protect their lives. Rosalie Coz, UNTV News and Rescue.
Meanwhile, scientists were stunned after discovering a bizarre journey of an Arctic fox. Kath Dumaraos will tell us why.
Scientists couldn't believe one Arctic fox's epic 76-day, 3,000-kilometer trek from Norway to Canada, the longest and fastest ever recorded for this species. Researchers from the Norwegian Polar Institute fitted a young female Arctic fox with a GPS tracking device before freeing her into the wild in March 2018. From Spitsbergen on Norway's Svalbard archipelago, the animal set off west, reaching Greenland in 21 days and then continuing on to Canada's Ellesmere Island. The fox traveled 3,506 kilometers in just 76 days. Researchers say the fox covered an average of 46.3 kilometers a day, sometimes reaching 155 kilometers. She slowed down on only 2 occasions. Scientists think she may have either sat out bad weather or found a source of food. An average Arctic fox lives to be 3 to 6 years old in the wild. They carry a thick coat of fur that helps them survive brutal temperatures as low as minus 58 degrees Fahrenheit. The animals hunt marine birds, fish, and small rodents such as lemmings. The researchers suggest the fox may have initially left Norway because of a scarcity of food. The Polar Institute reports that the transmitter collar stopped working in February 2019, so the fox's current whereabouts are unknown. Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue.
Golden State Warriors All-Star guard Klay Thompson underwent successful surgery Tuesday in Los Angeles to repair his torn ACL, a ligament in the knee, his agent Greg Lawrence said. Thompson is expected to make a full recovery and follow a standard recovery time of 5 to 7 months from an injury he incurred during Game 6 of their NBA Finals against the Raptors. The Warrior, wearing jersey number 11, has also announced that he is staying put with the Golden State Warriors through Instagram with the caption, "There was never a doubt, #Warrior for life." This after agreeing to sign a 5-year max deal with the Dubs. President Donald Trump says he will allow Huawei to buy U.S. technology again. Does this mean that the Google ban against Huawei is lifted? Let's find out from Mon Hokson.
Many are confused with what is the real deal about the Google ban on Huawei. Recently, U.S. President Donald Trump has given a statement on the sanction imposed on Huawei in buying U.S. technology.
I said we'll have to save that till the very end. We'll have to see. One of the things I will allow, however, is a lot of people are surprised. We send and we sell to Huawei a tremendous amount of product that goes into the various things that they make, and I said that that's okay, that we will keep selling that product.
Trump made the comments at a press conference at the G20 summit in Osaka, Japan. The news has spread like fire, and many write-ups have gone viral saying that the ban is already lifted. The question is it true that the ban is lifted? Can Huawei buy US technology again? The answer is we have to wait. The statement of President Donald Trump is only verbal and is not clear evidence that the ban is lifted. Though President Trump promised to sell US technology again to Huawei, an official announcement is needed, such as a signed order. This was confirmed by a top US official, Larry Kudlow, the White House economic advisor. Kudlow said that in the coming weeks, there will be a continuation of meetings on trade talks between the two giants. But Kudlow clarified that President Trump is referring to Huawei's general merchandise products, and the tech giant is still included on the United States enemy list.
No national security sensitivities at all. Remember, Huawei remains on the entity list, which is fundamentally a national security issue. And these are mostly telecom related. You could buy them in Vietnam, you could buy them in South Korea, you can buy them in Taiwan. We're not giving up anything.
On the question, is it safe to buy Huawei phones? This was already clarified by Huawei officials that all phones bought before the ban will still receive Google updates. This include recently launched Huawei and Honor phones like Huawei P30 Pro.
All existing Huawei phones na naka-issue na po sa market ngayon will still receive updates. So wag po kayong mag-alala, hindi po mawawala yung serbisyo po ng phone nila.
Huawei is planning to launch new smartphones in the following years, and fans are expecting to see the Android operating system on Huawei's new devices. Meanwhile, Google is clear on this point. For users of their services, Google Play and the security protection from Google Play Protect will continue to function on existing Huawei devices. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Veterinarian finds a way to combine his love for opera music and animals. Nina Armilio will tell us why.
Opera singing veterinarian Alfonso Camasa has come up with a rather unique approach to treating animals. It's certainly no secret, the milk production of cows goes up when the animals listen to music, whether it be the playing of a musical instrument or the sound of a person singing.
Okay, part of my job was definitely spending a lot of time on farm while TB testing. So I've always been singing since I was basically 6, 7. Singing opera. And then one day I realized that I was very bored, and I started saying, just by standing by the crush and keeping doing my job. And then I just realized that both farmers and cattle, they didn't complain. I cannot say that they enjoyed it, but for sure they didn't complain.
Now, Alfonso Camasa has taken things one step further by offering his opera singing services to farmers across England to help improve the general well-being of their cattle.
I want to show the beauty of my profession, that sometimes can be very tough, and then you need to do something else on farm, trust me, and to make everything more enjoyable for both, for the farmer, for the farmers, for the cattle, and for yourself.
I think it's great. It's so much fun to have someone who's fairly eccentric and makes dealing with animals, which can be quite a mundane, hard work. It makes it far more fun and enjoyable for staff, and I'm sure the cows quite like it.
Camasa, who trains with a professional opera coach every week, has proven impressively popular and now counts several farmers as regular clients of his unique services. Exactly what the cows themselves think of his talents, however, remains unclear. Nina Armilio, UNTV, News and Rescue.
And those are the reasons behind the news this July 4, 2019. On behalf of Alex Baltazar, I am William Theo, and before we close, we will recap with today's significant sound bites. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. From Bangkok, Thailand, good evening.
Yes, though hindi siya necessary foreign, but industrial, commercial scale, exploitation on our EEZ are nearing the coastline.
Ano bang hindi enforce? Hindi ba? Ano bang tawag mo doon? Hindi ba, yung usapan, may usapan sila na pwede kayo mag-fish dito, may gagambalayan yung mga fisherman. Hindi ba nangyayari na nga?
So unless that is translated into hard and specific words and sentences and provisions, then it's just an agreement to come into an agreement.
Problema lang namin, deactivation. Ngayon, pinapatay kahit existing driver, operator. Kasi hindi po pwedeng bumiyahe ang isang papel na walang PA. Dahil bakit? Hindi nila nilalabas. Bakit? Pending kasi nila. Kami ba ang may kasalanan? Hindi. Comply, bayad, process, asan ang papel? Wala.